So the people can hear me. They can't hear you because you're having some technical difficulties over there. You might want to unmute yourself.
Oh,
Yeah. There you
Jesus
go.
Christ. What's going on, Nice? We're live outside the Barclays Center here for Splatterhouse 2021. I'm the Mark Matt Graves, joined by the Nacho King. What's going on, Notch?
The Nacho King here live with an amateur man. I never seen that before. Never in my broadcasting days. But
Well,
who are you
it's a big
supposed to
event.
be, man?
It's a big event.
Who are you supposed to be for Halloween?
Guess. You got to guess.
Marty McFly. I don't know, man.
Who?
Marty McFly.
Buddy Landell's old tag team partner?
Yep.
No. One more guess.
A dork on TV. I don't know, man.
Close. Oh, no. Actually, I take that back. Seriously, take that back. I mean, AP.
You better take that back. You know what, man? I'm gonna give you one opportunity. You can put the show on pause and over live. You can take some time. I can keep the people entertained. You might want to change out of that, or you're gonna be hearing from me, AP. You just
Nah. That, from my
yeah,
home?
yeah.
Nah.
Would you define him as a homie? Would you
You better
really?
watch out, or we'll do a 187 in your ass.
Hey, the only 187 is gonna be received is yours, man. I'm telling you.
I still don't know what that is yet. EAP is supposed to tell me, but he said he'd teach me about it.
It's not something you want, man. It's not something you want.
It sounded like fun. Anyway, we got a big night. We had a big night, a shocking night, actually here at the Barclays Center. What do you think about the action tonight, Notch?
I mean, the action was worthy of the Splatterhouse theme. I mean, it was ugly, it was gruesome, but it was violent, man. You love to see it.
Yeah. Might explain the look of shock I have here. We'll jump right into
You're
it.
just hideous.
Was that?
You're just hideous.
Well, you're just hurtful. Here we go. Jump right into it. Match number 1, Chicago Savage and Blake Williams of Anarchy. The lone standing members of Anarchy trying once again to get so close to those tag team titles in a number 1 contendership match against Necro and Doomsayer of the Unholy Four, which has interesting implications should the Unholy Four be victorious. But number 1 contendership, what do you think about this, Notch?
Yeah, you mentioned about, if the Unholy Four win, or the other members of the Unholy Four win, rather, seeing as how Graves and Carnage are the reigning tag team champions. It's an interesting thing. We saw Reverend Crow saying that they were the gatekeepers for those belts, Doomsayer and Necro were. So it is interesting indeed. If they were to win, what would we see as far as our next tag team championship match? Interesting.
We also saw something that I never thought I'd see. After about 4 years, we saw Reverend Crow unmask.
Yes. Shocking events indeed. Shocking to say the least. Not too many words coming from me on that one. Although I will say, quite the reveal.
Right, quite the reveal, and there'll be more reveals tonight. But we start the match off with the 2 men from Chicago Savage and Necro in the middle of the ring, up in each other's faces, talking shit. Turns into a shoving match, and they start brawling right off the bat, Notch. Necro would get the upper hand on Chicago Savage early in the match, and he and Doomsayer, they've tag teamed before in other places, so their continuity is pretty well known. Quick tags in and out, and Doomsayer would be tagged in. He would take advantage on Chicago Savage for a little while. Chicago Savage took a pretty good beat down in the first part of this match, Notch.
Yeah, man. It was a rough start for Anarchy. And for these two teams, you mentioned the chemistry between Doomsayer and Necro. Both teams, actually have great chemistry here. Yeah, and both sides have a lot of experience, so it's going to be a close one in this one.
Yeah, it was. Speaking of close, every time it seemed like Chicago Savage was reaching out to get that make that hot tag to Blake. Somebody would come in, Doomsayer would come in, interrupt it, distract the referee. He just couldn't get the tag, and Blake spent the most of this match on the apron waiting for that tag. Chicago Savage really showing his stamina here and his endurance.
Resiliency.
Yeah, resiliency. There you go. Thank you. Uh, Blake Williams had enough, though. After about the fourth time that he was denied the tag, Blake Williams would come in and start clearing house by himself. And clothesline Necro over the top rope. Blake Williams gets back out to the
Yeah,
ring.
that was illegal in my day. You couldn't just go sending guys over the top rope, man. I'm just saying. In
You in
my day, that was
WCW?
in my day. You couldn't just go sending guys over the top rope, man. I'm telling you, this
Well,
is
yeah.
crazy. This is madness, man.
This is Splatterhouse.
Then so be it, I suppose.
So I guess Necro got splattered on the over the top rope. I
See
guess
what you did there.
the
See what you did there. I'll give you credit for that one.
the cocksuckers were out and the cocksuckers were splattering everywhere.
Yeah, crickets, man. They keep on rolling. They keep on rolling. You're used to it. You're used to it.
Necro, like I said, out on the floor. Finally, the crowd erupts. That hot tag gets Blake Williams gets tagged in. Starts cleaning house. Right hands to Doomsayer. Right hands to Necro. He crawls back in the ring, only to get clotheslined again over the top rope. Blake Williams starts cleaning house on Doomsayer, picks Doomsayer up for a power bomb, tags in Chicago Savage. Chicago Savage climbs up to the top rope, nails the Sears Tower. The crowd is erupting on their feet for the 1-2-3, and Anarchy wins this match it's a great match, a great opening bout for Splatterhouse. And now they are the number one contenders. They will face, I'm guessing next week, they will face Dark and Grays and Ethan Carnage for the World Tag Team Championships. Your thoughts?
Very impressive victory. As I mentioned, the credentials on both sides. So the winner of this one obviously going to be a tough fought victory, and we saw exactly that, man. Chicago Savage, Blake Williams, great teamwork there, and we mentioned the resiliency. Having that heart, man. You got to have the will of a champion. Pulling out the victory here.
I've heard you say that before. I know who that came from. Next match, the scaffold match. We took about a 15-minute break here so they can set up the scaffold, and of course they had to reinforce this scaffold, seeing as who was in it. KB3 DCE, or as he likes to call him, D, or I'm not sure. He's your friend.
D. Yeah, DCE, aka D. Him and KB3, they've got their issues, man. Safe to say. It's a bitter rivalry this has become. But with that being said, man, I'm glad it's all gonna, come to a conclusion here. We're gonna, may the best man win. Now, one thing I will say, KB3 going into this match, he understands that he's at a major disadvantage.
I was going to ask you if you talked to him, because he's a big guy, 500 pounds on a scaffold.
And that's the thing. But the key thing here is, man, those big guys, when they go into these matches, they know what's at stake here. They know if they actually get sent over, it's big trouble, man. You rarely see the big guys lose in this one. That's my take on it. So I'm looking at KB3 to get the job done.
I don't know if he's got a fear of heights, but we found out he doesn't. KB3 climbing up the scaffold with ease, as did DCE, and these guys. Not a whole lot of wrestling you can do up there, Notch. Mainly trading fisticuffs back and forth. A real scary moment came whenever KB3 just delivered a body slam to DCE on the scaffold, and DCE was halfway off the scaffold, legs hanging off halfway, head hanging off the other way. And we saw KB3 deliver a splash on the scaffold, and we thought it was going to break right there.
Hey. First and foremost, man, I don't like what you're implying there. Okay.
What am I implying?
You're implying that KB3 is heavier than the average man, and that he would have broken the scaffold because he is because of his size, man. I don't like what you're implying here.
You're saying that I'm saying he's
overweight.
overweight.
The scaffold wasn't gonna. I didn't say that. You said that. Look at you. Look at you. Now here's what I'm telling you.
Did those words come out of
Scaffold,
my mouth?
the scaffold didn't budge, man. The scaffold was secure. Two normal sized men on the scaffold there. The scaffold wasn't gonna break, man. Keep it going. Keep it going. You and your hyperbole, man.
Well, DC would try to go for a black hole suplex on KB3, which wasn't going to work. He took a sharp elbow to the face, another slam onto the scaffold, and KB3 would pull DC's arms to the corner of the scaffold where the barricade or the the metal part of the scaffold is.
Yeah, man.
The foundation, and he would hold on to that scaffold and deliver a bonsai drop to DCE, which would in fact break the scaffold. Not in fact break the scaffold, but destroy the scaffold. DCE falling all the way to the mat, the scaffold coming down on top of him, KB3 hanging on for dear life, but he remained up there, and KB3 wins this match in which looked like a nasty, nasty fall to DCE. He was stretchered out.
You never want to see an athlete get hurt in any sport, man. So our best wishes go out to DCE. But hey, what I tell you, man, what I tell you, KB3, in a match like this, the stakes, you can't let yourself, failure is not an option for him in this match. So I just knew he would find a way to withstand a valiant effort here tonight, KB3.
And now he goes from a losing streak, now he's on a winning streak.
Absolutely.
And by the way, what you said about the scaffold earlier, I thought you said it was secure. Cricket. Cricket. Chirp, chirp, chirp.
You're trying to be a wise guy here. Now, here's the thing, man. First and foremost, man, don't make me come over there. All right? Don't make me come over there. Don't say anything during this broadcast that you won't say when the cameras aren't rolling. You hear me? You understand what I'm telling you, man? Just keep it
I'm trying.
check. Keep it in check, man.
Straight up.
No, man.
I grew up to be a straight up menace. Yeah. Anyway, match number 3 was the King of the Road match. Malachi Osiris and Kevin Zane. And this is an old WCW match that happened before that now it's happened in Splatterhouse. An 18-wheeler driving these guys around town while they wrestle in the bed of a 18-wheeler. What do you think about this?
This reminds me of scenes from multiple television shows, but the most prominent one is that one episode of Impractical Jokers where Q is in the back of the in the back of the SUV with the food and all that. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, good stuff. So it did resemble that as far as the chaos. You can't how do you keep your footing? How do you fight, man? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was almost as crazy as the Point Place Veterans Day barbecue.
You know what, man? A classic reference, man. Wasted. This has nothing to do with barbecue or 4th of July. It's a completely different holiday. It's not even the same time of year. I have wasted. Move on.
These guys would brawl in the back of the bed of this 18-wheeler. Not sure who the driver was, but he was driving all over the road, throwing each guy into this fence that was around the bed of this trailer, and Malachi Osiris taking a handful of hay, trying to smother Kevin Zane with it, stuffing it down his throat. Kevin Zane would grab a bottle of motor oil and squirt it all into Malachi's eyes, and Malachi was walking around like he was blindfolded. And we'll see more of that later tonight. But Malachi was walking around, couldn't see. A lot of crazy stuff happened in this match, Notch.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned the motor oil, man. At that point, it started getting slippery out there, man. These guys, it's already, due to the nature of the match, that you're in the truck, and I mean, it's already hard to find your footing. Now it's getting slippery in there. these guys, it got ugly quick, man.
It did. There happened to be some live animals in the back. There was a horse. It wasn't
A,
dead,
re-
but
a reverse petting zoo.
a reverse petting zoo.
Yeah.
Sharon, where's she at? Sharon, uh, she's signing autographs. She gave me a reverse petting zoo the other night. It was fun. Um,
Excuse me, man. Elaborate on that one.
she's. I thought that was a common thing.
uh, uh, a reverse petting zoo is where
She's
you
telling
pet
me to
that.
shut. She's telling me to shut the hell up and go on with the action. So,
Okay, okay.
uh, we
A reverse petting zoo is where you pet the animals and they pet you back. I have no idea what you're talking about.
yeah. Uh, Malachi Osiris would pick up a goat and throw it into the arms of Kevin Zane, who knock him off his feet, and the goat butt Kevin Zane in the eyes, blood pouring out the eyeballs of Kevin Zane. This match was nuts.
Man, you know what, man? I think this goat, man. I wonder what Kevin Zane. We don't know a lot about Kevin Zane, do we? Personally, do we? On a personal
You know
level.
what?
What did he do to that goat, man? I get the feeling this isn't the first time they crossed paths, man. That was a vindictive. You know, I mean, why didn't the goat attack Malachi? Why did it attack Kevin Zane? I'm just curious.
Maybe it's Malachi's new partner. I don't know.
Mm.
Uh, but Malachi would deliver a power bomb after that, and that would be the end of it. 1, 2, 3. After this driver, it would end with them getting pulled over. I don't know if anybody went to jail or anything
The
like
way
that.
that guy was driving, I mean, how did that thing? I'm glad we were able to finish the match the way this guy was driving,
I mean,
man.
the cop pulls somebody over and for driving erratically, and you got two guys in the bed of a truck with a goat and bloody eyeballs and bales of hay and motor oil, and
It's not a good sight, man.
I'd say,
How do
just
you
a
explain that
ticket.
one?
A ticket.
Yeah, good luck explaining that one, man.
Disorderly conduct. We go now to the leather strap match. Worthington Marshall III taking on the Joshua McClain. And this one would get pretty brutal. Worthington Marshall suffered. I wish it. Well, I don't. I wonder what his back would look like right now, because I'm pretty sure it's tanned red, because the Joshua McClain took that strap and was beating on the back of TJM throughout this whole match.
TJM, he gave it to him, man. We've been very excited about the return of WM3 as well as TJM. But yeah, in this match, McLean really took it to him. And these leather strap matches, it's very, very what's the word I'm looking for here? It's
Brutal.
but also there's very little strategy because you're strapped together, man. You can't, you're not going to get much separation. You don't have the opportunity to leave the ring, catch a breather, things like that, man. So it's really taxing on both athletes, man, these strap matches.
Have you ever been in one?
I've been in a few, man. It's not something you like, man. Like I said, you can't get a breather, you can't get any space. It's tough, man.
Well, as we know, you have to touch all four turnbuckles consecutively to win the match, and it seemed like every time TJM would get to that fourth one, WM3 would pull that strap, pull him down, but then TJM would go and beat down on him a little bit more. Reverse Death Valley driver, still couldn't get the job done. It would come down to the two of them back on their feet after a minute and start slugging it out. And they finally start going for each corner themselves, each one hitting the turnbuckle. Number 2, number 3. So we got one more turnbuckle left. Whoever hits the fourth turnbuckle is going to win the match. We got WM3 who gets slingshotted into the fourth turnbuckle, but he doesn't touch it. Joshua McClain realizes this. He goes running to try to leap over WM3 to touch that turnbuckle, and WM3 puts the boot up, hits him where the sun don't shine, turns around, slaps the top of the turnbuckle, and WM3 wins this match.
WM3, we're right there. This is actually, I want to say this is might be the biggest win. Actually, I can't say it might is. It is absolutely the biggest win of WM3's career to be able to beat an athlete the caliber of TJM. We've talked about everything that TJM has accomplished in iWrestling as well as the entire iWrestling or entire. I'm sorry, the entire pro wrestling world. So come out victorious in a match like this, where you have to completely, get the upper hand on your opponent to finalize it. What a performance from WM3.
What a performance indeed. And Sharon, what do you think about a strap match later on tonight? All right, I'm just not going to talk to you anymore. Um, we move
Trouble
on
in
to
Paradise, man.
what?
Trouble in Paradise.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I believe you. I believe you.
Just because she has posters of you on her wall, that doesn't mean anything. That just means she's a fan.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, we move on to the Coal Miner's Glove match, a classic. Um, Coal Miner's Glove placed atop of a pole attached to the ring, one of the ring posts. Coal Miner's Glove. It's filled with coal, gold, filled with God knows what, wrapped in barbed wire. Whoever can reach that Coal Miner's Glove can use it. And we saw Mr. Nobody and Harley Zane, and this one didn't last too long. Harley Zane gave it her all, but in the end, it would be Mr. Nobody climbing up to that pole, climbing that pole. Feel weird saying that, but grabbing that Coal Miner's Glove, and very. I know it's the rules, but who wants to hit a lady with a Coal Miner's Glove?
Well, that's you being misogynistic, man. Harley Zane is an athlete, and she has competed in iWrestling for a very long time. I don't appreciate you trying to, treat her like she needs some type of special treatment around here. She doesn't
I'm
need
not a
you.
masochist.
She does. I don't know. See, here's the thing. You're trying to be funny, and I'm trying to be serious right now. Save your jokes, man. Like I was saying, Harley Zane, she doesn't need your pity or anyone else's. So save it, man. Save it, man. And but yes, she did come out on the lesser end here. No shame in it. As Mr. Nobody, let's talk about Mr. Nobody. This guy, he's been really making an impact ever. I mean, this is the thing with this guy. He's been so consistent, yet he hasn't had his time in the sun. It's got to come sometime, man.
Yeah, and you did call me a masochist.
Whatever.
Moving on, the BYOB match. Bring your own blunt force weapon. James Park and Matthew Mullins. Finally, this is what you
Well,
wanted. You wanted this.
well, first and foremost, yes. But this match, that's a very wordy match. For me, it's just BYOB, and the
Bring
but
your own blunt,
blunt, booze,
booty,
yeah, I don't want
bullshit,
anything. Uh, Again, things that you don't want to have. Uh, what would you want to have? Bring your
a
own
bastard,
burgers. Uh, you
a
gotta
bastard,
say.
a
Uh,
bastard child.
uh, y- w-
Things that you wouldn't want. You said,
br- Bring your own bastard. That's
bring
a
your own brick.
now. When it comes to James Park and Matthew Mullins, I am very, very pleased that we finally get this match in the ring. You know, I've been very, very vocal about this. I'm very happy that Matthew Mullins finally gets what's coming to him, man. I mean, this guy. Again, usually, I don't mind a guy taking matters into his own hands, going into business for himself, so to speak. But it just time after time, it becomes cowardly, cowardly to
I
just
agree.
I didn't ask for your approval, so I'm Park, finally James Park gets a chance to exact his retribution, man. Nice times.
Yeah, nice times. It wouldn't be nice times tonight though. Both men would come out with their hammers. Um, James Park with his new double edged hammer, huge hammer coming out, and Matthew Mullins coming out with his Dollar General like hammer. Uh, this was pretty much, yeah.
Accurate description there. There you go.
Uh, Thank you. Uh, this would be a brawl all the way through, and that's pretty much what it was. Neither guy really, a couple shots with the hammers, but neither guy getting that knockout blow that they wanted until something happened. The crowd starts erupting. Um, James Park and Matthew Mullins are both spent, up in each other's faces, holding their hammers up to each other like they're about to knock each other out. Out of the crowd comes an IW original, a legend in this business, Claire. Do you remember? Do you remember Claire?
Oh man, that is Queen Claire to you,
Queen
man.
Claire.
That is Queen Claire to you. Hey man, this right here,
Mullins.
this is a glorious night, man. For
Well,
Splatterhouse 2021. Imagine.
Mullins never saw it coming. She jumps in the ring, gets behind Mullins, and a swift kick to the balls. Matthew Mullins goes down to his knees, and James Park finally gets his revenge as he takes that hammer like it's an axe, splits Matthew Mullins' head wide open. I mean, we could see brain matter, brain tissue. Matthew Mullins, we don't know if he's alive or dead right now. He was stretchered out, but not before the pinfall for the 1, 2, 3.
Oh, of course, the pinfall, man.
The pinfall
You
is
know,
important. It's important.
it is important. I don't want to. It sounds like I'm downplaying it. That
Brains can be put back in.
can they? Can they?
I'm sure they can do that by now.
I assure you they cannot. So with that in mind, I want to give we want to give our condolences to Matthew Mullins' family out there, man. We do hope he's okay out there with this guy. This guy's over here talking about pinfalls and like, can we get the man to the hospital? Okay, jeez.
He'll be in a nice hospital bed where I'm sure he'll do many promos from. But speaking of Claire, we've got word from Claire right now. She's got some post match comments. Let's go to her.
I'm sorry. The hell I am. That felt good. It has been way too long since I've been here. I left abruptly in the past, and I am sorry for that. But I have returned. Now, I did leave a mark for myself before I left. And while I was gone, I took care of business, but I never forgot about this place. I dreamt day after day, week after week, month after month, and even year after year. I dreamt that I would come back. And here I am. Now, for those of you who remember me, I am not the same woman I once was. I am smarter and I am stronger. And for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Claire. And if anybody wants to get in my way, be prepared because I'm ready to kick ass.
And as she used to say in the past, Notch, a wise girl knows her limits, but a smart girl knows she has none.
Hey, I'm excited, man. This is huge, man. This is big time. Now, we've had a lot of returning superstars over the past couple of months, but let me say, this is easily one of the top 3, top 5 acquisitions we've had recently here, man.
Definitely.
It's an exciting time to be an iWrestling fan.
It is indeed. Next up, we've got the blindfold match. Mike Davis Jr. and Johnny Rockstar. Now, putting blindfolds on these guys is almost as as bad as a risk of the scaffold match, putting KB3 in a scaffold match. But
you're gonna stop that, man. You're gonna stop that. All right.
what
Again,
am I doing?
you're implying that KB3. You're implying that there's something about KB3 that somehow
he broke the scaffold. He destroyed it.
the two men together broke the scaffold. It takes two to tango. They both broke the scaffold.
It wouldn't have happened had he not been bonsai dropped.
Hey man, he's just out there trying to win. How many times have we seen him use the bonsai drop? Okay, it's a good move. He was just trying to win the match, man.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a Nature Boy Buddy Landell quote, and I couldn't come up with
How dare you? How dare you?
These guys got the blindfolds put on them, the hoods, as we would say in the hood, me and EAP. This match started off crazy and ended up crazy. Mike Davis Jr. would, as soon as the bell would ring, he would leave the ring, whether he knew it or not, and he would walk toward the ramp as Johnny Rockstar is delivering elbow drops to the mat. There's nobody there, but I guess he thought there was somebody. At one point, Johnny Rockstar covered the mat as he was covering an opponent and hooked a leg. I don't know if he felt the leg there or not, but so Johnny Rockstar is getting up and he's trying to feel his way around the ring. He ends up going over the top rope multiple times and landing on the floor. Mike Davis Jr. is up at the Titantron, and he's found his way up at the top. He's climbed up at the top of the Titantron. Thank God he didn't get hurt. Referees told him where he was at. He thought he was in the middle of the ring. They told him he was up on top of the Titantron, so they helped him climb down. While Johnny Rockstar's treating the outside post like a punching bag. He's sitting there delivering punches to the outside post and wondering why his hand's hurting. He and Mike Davis Jr. would get back in the ring for a second. They'd finally meet up, and once they collar and elbow tied up, they got scared as fuck of what they was touching. Immediately broke the collar and elbow tie up. Mike Davis leaves the ring again. Johnny Rockstar climbs up to the top rope, delivers an elbow drop to the mat. Your take on this so far, Notch?
My take on this: somebody's gonna beat themselves before they beat the other guy, man. You're gonna just dive off and kill yourself before you can even get your hands on somebody in this one, man. Who came up with this? The blindfold match? Or who came up with this, man?
I don't know. It surely wasn't. It surely wasn't anybody in lower management. Johnny Rockstar would climb again to the top rope and deliver a second elbow drop to an empty mat and hook the leg on something for a 1-2. I think the referee was just kind of humoring him there.
Johnny
Rockstar would climb to the top rope for a third elbow drop as Mike Davis Jr. would peek under the hood, hit the ropes, and Johnny Rockstar would fall, and you know what happens with that, you know.
Yeah. We've seen that from time to time, man.
Mike Davis, now knowing where he's at, would climb up to the turnbuckle and deliver a Barry Windham-like superplex from the top rope, pin 1, 2, 3 Johnny Rockstar, and that would be it. That'd be all she wrote. And after the match, you know, they were told to take the hoods off. Johnny Rockstar still had the hood on. He thinks the match is still going. We're trying to bring out the next match, which is Chris Conley and Sabbath, and Rockstar still in the ring, dropping elbows onto the mat. It took 3 security guards to make Johnny Rockstar take that hood off his head. That's how dedicated he was to winning this match.
Not much more to say here. It was very, very interesting, to say the least. But we finally have a winner.
Yeah, finally. And after the crowd got through with their bathroom break, they come back to the ambulance match, which is Chris Connolly and the Outlaw Rick Sabbath. Your thoughts on this one, Mike? Notch. Sorry.
This is gonna be this is gonna be an action-packed match, man. These two guys, they no love lost, and we saw that leading into the match. Very the promotional tactics were very heated between the two. Very excited to see who's when they finally can get their hands on each other. You'd love to see it.
Right. And Connolly was coming into this match pissed. He was pissed about last week. He's got a chip on his shoulder, so he had something to prove. Connolly, he would take advantage of Rick Sabbath right off the bat and just deliver a beat down. This would go all the way back to where the ambulance was parked in the back of the Barclays Center. Throwing Rick Sabbath through the glass doors of the back of the outside. Security guards didn't really know what was going on, but we know how IW security is. They never know what's going on. This match would end with Chris Connolly delivering a headshot, picking up Rick Sabbath over his shoulder and throwing his head a la NWO Rey Mysterio right into that ambulance. And Rick Sabbath, he took another trip to the hospital. This is 2 trips in 3 weeks. Chris Connolly loaded him up and made it look easy. Chris Connolly wins this match.
It has been a tough go of it for Rick Sabbath here recently, and
well, he did win the T-Bone Memorial Battle Royal.
He did.
Let me correct you while you're wrong.
Hey, you okay there, man? You got anything you want to get off your chest? Okay. Now, for Rick Sabbath, he came into this match. It's a tough match, man. You got Chris Connolly. You got to be able to combat that physical strength and that just the intensity that he brings to the table. It's not something that you just walk on into. So for Rick Sabbath, man, as you mentioned, going back to the hospital here, hopefully he can. You mentioned that he was able to win the Battle Royal a couple weeks ago, but you got to be able to stack wins on top of each other. You got to be able to stack wins on top of each other if you want to be something, man. I know for you, you and Sharon, it's hit or miss, it's that type of thing. That's how losers live. When you're really a top tier guy at any profession, it's consistency.
I'm not a wrestler, but had I chosen to been one, you would have been my first target.
That's cute.
I would have lost.
That's cute. Probably. Certainly would have lost.
But maybe one day. Next up, we got the ladder match. Television title on the line. Shooter J and Jack the Ripper. And this one got personal. This one's been personal. Ever since Jack the Ripper, he left the truth. Wanted to go into business for himself in a way. And I mean that in a good way. He felt like he didn't need the truth anymore. And a lot of people agree with that.
Who agrees with that?
A lot of people.
Okay. Now, the truth, how many belts do they have on their side?
1.
Mm-hmm. And how many belts has Jack the Ripper won since leaving the truth?
Well, he left the truth 2 weeks ago, so none.
I mean,
he hasn't been in a title match yet.
Hey, again, that's your fault, man. You're not either you're not that much of a commodity, or you
boil down to me. My fault. I'm just doing my job as
no, not you. Your fault. I'm saying that's Jack the Ripper's fault.
Are you saying you people again? Yeah. You people in the media.
No. Now you're just throwing me completely off. But Jack the Ripper. So, how can you complain about the truth holding you down, all that type of stuff? You leave and you're still not being successful. Give me a break.
Wouldn't nobody hold him down tonight because this ladder match was a la Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, WrestleMania 10. Both guys giving it all they got there. It would end up in Shooter J, delivering a couple hard punches. And I mean a couple. It would take a couple to knock Shooter J off his feet. The first one kind of stung. The next one knocked him out cold. We thought Jack the Ripper climbing up the top of that ladder. And Shooter J, he gets up finally. And we got both guys on top of the ladder trading blows. And trading blows to the head. And then it would be Jack the Ripper who would stick Shooter J with a hard punch on top of the ladder, sending Shooter J straight down, flat on his back. Jack the Ripper, no longer can you not call him a champion, excuse me. Reaching up and grabbing that TV title belt, and your winner and new television champion. And congratulations. Hard fought victory for Jack the Ripper, the new IW World Television Champion.
This is a very, very big victory for Jack the Ripper.
Makes you feel bad about what you said earlier, didn't it?
It make me feel bad. I don't mince words, man. He hadn't won anything since he left, and now he has. Now I'm proud of him. I don't, good for him. I'm not, it is what it is, man.
So you're not proud of somebody until they win titles.
How? I mean, you say that as if it's illogical or something. How can I be proud of you if you haven't done anything? Are you proud of your dog for not obeying your commands, or are you proud of your kid for not doing well in school? Oh, hey, I'm proud of you just for being alive.
Yeah, I'm proud of you just for being alive.
How is that an accomplishment, man?
I don't know.
So you know what you're telling me? You're lying to me. You're not really proud of me because I haven't even done anything.
You have. You're the Nacho King.
No. If you say that you're proud of me for doing nothing,
and your seed belongs to the Chicago Savage, a great in-ring talent, your grandson. See, I give credit where credit's due.
I guess.
See,
patting yourself on the back there, huh?
I knew you'd warm up to me eventually.
No.
Yeah. Next up, we got the blue steel cage match. Something that Chicago Savages know a lot about.
What's that supposed to mean?
What?
What's that supposed to mean? So you made a remark about Chicago Savage and the blue cage. Are you referring to the highway robbery where Markin Graves, your long lost cousin there, he robbed Chicago Savage of the World Television Championship?
Did I say that? Did those words come out of my mouth?
You mentioned the blue cage. That's the only time I can think of Chicago Savage being in a blue cage, because
he's been in thousands of them.
No. He's only been in one blue cage because this is the 21st century and no one uses a blue cage anymore unless they're trying to cheat. So
he's been at least 5.
Yeah, no.
Well, it is what it is. Douglas O'Shea and Chaos. Chaos representing the Truth. The Truth already off to a good start tonight. Chaos, let's see what happens here. We saw what happened here. Douglas O'Shea. Sorry?
Chris Conley victorious, yes, but obviously Shooter J coming up short. So the Truth kind of even killed right here. They need this win right here to make it a great night for them.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of threw me off there.
It's okay.
Douglas O'Shea would pretty much dominate this match. He he hasn't been back for a while. He's been doing his thing on the indie circuits, and Douglas O'Shea would make Chaos pay. Hey, like that word play. Picking up Chaos, military press him into the head first into the blue steel. Chaos would try to come back, but it was just he didn't have enough tonight for Douglas O'Shea. As the crowd's chanting O'Shea rules, O'Shea rules, he would deliver a thunderous leg drop from the top of the blue steel cage onto Chaos for the 1, 2, 3. And Douglas O'Shea, very impressive tonight.
Very impressive, man. When you can beat an athlete and the veteran of the caliber of chaos, it's a very big victory. So Douglas O'Shea, coming back as you mentioned after some time away from iWrestling, not time away from pro wrestling, but time away from iWrestling. It's always good to how can we miss you if you don't go away? So it's always good to step away and add some more tools to the toolbox, come back, and we see, everything on display here, man. Great win for O'Shea.
You would know about being a tool, but I'm sorry.
Was that supposed to be funny?
I'm sorry. Next up, we would have the I Quit match for the United States Championship of this world and the next. Oh, wait. Where'd that come from? Frank Paul defending against Thomas Awesome Austin. And this is one that's been talked about for a month or two now. The return match, the one match that Thomas wanted. And before we get into it, there was a special referee. I know who it is. You know who it is. But let's show the world who the special referee was indeed for this match.
Question. What do smart people do when they're in a bind? They call too fine Justin Klein, and that's exactly what my old friend David Jones did when he called up his greatest investment to date. The Rock, if you will, of IW. The true icon of IW. The John Cena of EFES, because I broke through that glass ceiling and left this tinker toy world behind. So when he needed a little star power for this, I don't know, Halloween spooktacular or something clever like that, for a special guest referee spot, he knew who to call. Because nobody knows more about quitting this stuff than me. So the I Quit match between Thomas Austin and Frank Paul tonight will be special guest refereed by yours truly. And I plan to bring some tricks and some treats.
I got gas in the tank. I got money in the bank. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. Who's the man? Who's the man? Oh.
Jeez.
I mean, they call me the Mark for a reason,
Oh, jeez. You almost ruined it. You almost ruined the return of Too Fine Justin Klein. You almost ruined it, but even you could never be so pathetic. Now we have, as if this match could get any bigger. As if this match could get any bigger. Now, one thing I will point out: no love lost between Thomas Austin and Justin Klein. We'll see if he calls this thing down the middle. Now, I've always known Justin Klein to be a very integritous man. So, me personally, I think he'll be able to put his differences aside and call this one down the middle, call it fairly.
Well, yeah, and I would agree with you on that. He would call this match fairly. It would be Thomas Austin that would take an advantage in this match early on and really dominate the match. But it would seem like every time that Thomas Austin would lock in a submission hold or anything on Frank Paul, Justin Klein, he had to see what time it was, or he was getting heckled by a fan. It's hard to be a referee and deal with the stuff that the fans, throw at you, or, he's almost been stabbed before. So I would expect him to come into this match as a referee waiting to get stabbed.
It happens, man.
It's Splatterhouse.
Yes, indeed. And the fans, they were quite rowdy. But Klein, he's been in every arena across the world. It never shakes him, man. But when it comes to these two competitors, Thomas Austin and Frank Paul, the bitter rivalry, it was on full display here, man.
After Frank Paul pretty much trying to avoid Thomas Austin as much as he could, he couldn't avoid an awesome bomb, and Thomas Austin putting Frank Paul in the lion tamer. Frank Paul screaming, "I quit! I quit! I quit!" We thought we heard Justin Klein, Thomas Austin looking at Justin Klein like, "What the fuck?" Oh God, excuse my language. Like what the f? And Justin Klein saying, "No, he's not saying I quit. He's saying acquit. You must acquit. Like if the glove fits, you must acquit." Because we know JB Klein is Esquire. He's a lawyer, and that's in his. We're not there in the middle of the ring. The referee is Justin Klein. He heard acquit.
There you go, man.
Is that what you heard?
Well, I couldn't make it out personally. I couldn't make it out, but so yeah, we got to roll with the referee's decision there. No reason not to.
Right. So he after that, Thomas Austin would get up and get in the face of Justin Klein, which wouldn't be good. Justin Klein said, "Don't put your hands on me." Before Thomas could lay a punch to Justin Klein, Frank Paul catches Thomas Austin in the Taz mission. And right away, shocking the whole crowd in silence as Thomas Austin uttered the words, "I quit, I quit, I quit." Frank Paul wins this match, making Austin say, "I quit."
This day has been it's been a very shocking night to say the least, but this outcome has floored me. I honestly, I didn't see either man saying I quit in this one. I thought we were gonna have somebody. I thought we would have somebody join Rick Sabbath in the hospital there. But as we see, obviously the pain was just too much for Thomas Austin to endure, and saying I quit.
Sharon just told me that the fans are starting to riot outside of the Barclays Center because of this. She has sent me the audio. Because I for one, I don't know if Thomas Austin said I quit or acquit. Maybe he was copying Frank. I don't know. Here's the audio from the end of the match.
I quit. I mean, for God's sake, I quit. I quit. I quit. I quit. That's it. I'm done. Way too much. I don't need this shit. I don't need it. I quit. That's it. I'm done.
Now, hold on. Let's play it one more time to be sure. I want to be sure.
I quit. I mean, for God's sake, I quit. I quit. I quit. I quit. That's it. I'm done. Way too much. I don't need this shit. I don't need it. I quit. That's it. I'm done.
What's the question? What is there to question? That's obviously Thomas Austin.
That's what
he's obviously saying he quits.
I quit. I mean, for God's sake, I quit. I quit. I quit. I quit. That's it. I'm done. Way too much. I don't need this shit. I don't need it. I quit. That's it. I'm done.
No mistaking that voice. Frank Paul, still your United States champion. I'm in shock here. Not
well,
you.
The footage or the audio rather doesn't lie.
Played it 3 times.
Yeah, it's Thomas Austin's voice, very very clearly. What else can you say?
Thomas Austin quits tonight. Yeah, this was his goodness. Next up, we got the Violent Gentleman, Nick White, taking on the returning Tommy Dyer. 2 best friends, prestige worldwide. I mean, we'd spend all night here going over the history between these 2 guys. 2 guys that were like brothers. What's your take on this one, Notch? Going into the barbed wire, the barbed wire ring match.
When friends turn enemies, it's you never want to see it, man. Especially when it's a tag team this great, man. We're talking about arguably the greatest tag team in iWrestling history. So you never want to see them, be at odds. But at the same time, we're talking about two great wrestlers here, and so to see them in the ring clashing, battling for supremacy, that is a bit of a treat.
I don't know if they're really enemies or if they kind of enjoy this from time to time, because it's more like competition between them. But this time, barbed wire ropes. Um, it would start off hot and heavy. Tommy Dyer come in with it looking like he had a chip on his shoulder. Um, would wrap Nick White up in the ropes, a la the way that Andre the Giant used to get tangled in those ropes. But Tommy Dyer would tangle up Nick White and just start trading blows to the head, pulling out a pair of brass knucks, opening up Nick White, bloody Nick White. 10 minutes into the match, man.
Yeah, man. As we mentioned, well, as I mentioned, you tried to say it was, just competition. I knew it was gonna get ugly, man. I knew it was more than just who's the better man. It's a barbed wire rope match. I mean, these guys are trying to kill each other, and we see very quickly, it's gonna be very, very, very gruesome.
Nick White gets untangled out of the barbed wire, and sees his own blood, wipes it on his chest, starts to come back against Tommy Dyer. Tommy Dyer bounces off the ropes, looking for a clothesline, ducked by Nick White, and Nick White picks up Tommy Dyer and with amazing strength, press slams him onto the barbed wire. Barbed wire didn't give an inch, but Tommy Dyer's belly did.
Yeah, that was tough, man. Both guys right here taking a lot of damage. You really, at this point in the match, you want to get it over with. You got to find something in your arsenal to put this thing away, man. You don't want to keep this thing going.
Nick White would proceed to put Tommy Dyer's neck underneath the barbed wire, and he'd wrap the top rope of barbed wire around his neck, trying to strangle him with the barbed wire. Tommy Dyer refusing to tap out. Eventually to the point where he passed out. But Nick White wasn't done. He went outside, got himself a steel chair. By the time he gets back into the ring, I mean, you got barbed wire. Why do you need a chair? But, it's Nick White. He's a violent gentleman. He comes in, and Tommy Dyer's finally, he's getting up. Low blow to Nick White. Takes a chair out of Nick White's hand and delivers 3 brutal chair shots to the back of Nick White. And Tommy Dyer placing the chair in between the barbed wire and running head first Nick White through the chair, and goes for a pin. And it's a 1, 2.5. And close call there, Notch.
Hey, what are you gonna do to put this guy away, man? I mean, I thought that was it. I thought that was it.
It would come down to Nick White getting a pair of scissors, a pair of shears, and cutting a piece of the top rope. He would wrap it around Tommy Dyer's head, and then he would nail white privilege with that barbed wire stuck into the skin of Tommy Dyer. They're both a bloody mess by now, but that's what it would take for Nick White to get the 1, 2, 3 over his best friend, his brother, Tommy Dyer.
Hellacious match, man.
Very prestigious, no pun intended.
That was gruesome. That was hideous, man.
It was
blood everywhere. Oh goodness.
It even takes your breath. When something takes your breath away, where you can't even talk, then it's serious.
Congratulations to Nick White, man. He's obviously in a certain mind state right now that's gonna put him in position to be very dangerous moving forward.
Whew. What a match. Moving on. First blood match. Ethan Carnage of the Unholy Four versus Dave Barron. And we saw that during an autograph signing after last week. Dark and Graves gets up and heads to catering for a minute. Dave Barron attacks Ethan Carnage, puts him in the hospital. Ethan Carnage is fine, but he, this match was signed, first blood match, and these two got really personal throughout the week.
Yeah, very personal. These two guys don't like each other one bit, and they've been letting each other know it. I'm glad we can finally, put this thing to bed, man.
Yeah. Ethan Carnage and Dave Barron would become, the ring's already stained with the blood from Nick White and Tommy Dyer. It would get stained with more blood. We'll get to that in a minute. Dave Barron and Ethan Carnage pulling out all the stops, non-stop beat down. Notch, what do you think about it so far? Sorry.
Yeah, you're asking me what I think about it. These two guys, two veterans of our industry, and they really know what it takes to be victorious in any setting. And so both of these guys on the defensive somewhat, not really wanting to give an inch, but it's gonna come down to one or two big moves, and once one of those guys can get that opening, it's really gonna be kind of like an avalanche, man.
Both guys coming in pretty smart. I think they must have had like Vaseline on their head or something, because they would try to bust each other up and it just wouldn't work. Chair shots to the head by Carnage on Dave Barron didn't bust him open. Dave Barron taking a cheese grater, trying to grate the head of Ethan Carnage open. Didn't bleed, no blood. It would boil down to the fact that Dave Barron would pull something out of his pocket and take this how you want to take it. He pulls a light bulb out of his pocket, smashing it over the head of Ethan Carnage. Just enough to cut him, but just a little trickle, but enough for the referee to call for the bell, because he was the first man to bleed.
Blood is blood, man. Blood is blood, and
Dave Barron wins this match. But what's the deal with the light bulb?
What do you mean, man? A light bulb is, I think that was his ace up his sleeve, making sure if anything, if all those fails, make sure you've got something sharp on hand to be able to make that thing happen, man. If you can't just force a guy open, if you can't if not by ramming his head into stuff and ramming stuff into his head, cut him open, just, there you go.
But what I'm saying is, a light bulb, that seems symbolic, and you know what I'm talking about.
Enlighten me.
Dark and Graves. WrestleCade. I'm begging you to watch the product.
Hey. Take a chill pill, man. Take a chill pill. First and foremost, nobody's thinking about Dark and Graves. You gotta keep that in mind here. That's the big thing.
Well, I agree with that.
Do you? Because obviously you expect people to be.
It's been one of his trademarks throughout his career is using the light bulb.
Yes.
I said I'm begging you to watch the product.
I'll let you have that. Before I chime in here, we have some fans in the comment section, but above all else, we have a very, very special viewer, and that person has remarked on how terrible you look, and I just want to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I know. I see him. Next. So, congratulations to Dave Barron.
Congratulations to Dave Barron.
Big win over Ethan Carnage. We head on into the double main event. Rocky T and Dark and Graves. This is 3 years in the making here. These guys, Dark and Graves has wanted a match with Rocky T for a long time, and for some reason, well, it seemed like everybody and their mother was given a match with Rocky T, but except for Dark and Graves. But I'm trying to be the unbiased guy here. Dark and Graves never afforded an opportunity at the World Heavyweight title when Rocky T was champion.
Spoken, one one thing I'll say here, that's a fair complaint if you're Dark and Graves.
No,
On the other,
it's fact.
you
If
sound a
you're
little
Dark and
bit.
Graves.
Oh, if you sound a little bit. Sound like you might have a hand in there. Has Dark and Graves been paying you under the table to.
My hands are right here.
Has he been feeding you a little bit of change
I
to
don't
make
talk
sure
to the
you're
guy.
pushing his narrative here tonight?
I
Just
don't talk
curious.
to the guy.
Yeah, just curious. Now, when it comes to Rocky T, everybody wants a match with Rocky T, man. You got to get in line, and if I'm not mistaken, Dark and Graves is a decorated athlete. In his time, he had been defending championships, things of that nature. So, isn't he defending a championship right now?
No, it's not the tag team title.
Well, no, not literally on this night defending a championship, but isn't he a defending champion? Doesn't he have responsibilities right now? So even if Rocky T was champion right now, he wouldn't even be available really to have these championship matches. So these guys, man, they act like they're so everything the world's against them. They act like they get the short end of the stick, but really, it's a business. It's a business. People are they're living their lives, man.
Yeah, I agree. This match would going to be what it was. It was brutal. It was. It would end up with two guys on the floor. They would. They both be trying to open up the casket, and neither one of them could open up the casket. They would. You know what? Nash, take this for a minute for me.
Yeah, man. Rocky T. Rocky T and Dark and Graves, as he mentioned, they were there trying to get that casket open. That thing, it's hard to really tell just exactly, where they get these things. Different caskets made differently, but they were able to actually get it open finally. Graves and Rocky T here fighting, trying to
Sorry
get
about
the
that.
other man. Yeah, really, honestly, I could have just kept talking for the entire show, and people, I could sit here and talk about my own career, and
Yeah.
we can get a rating boost here. But you were talking about how Rocky T and Dark and
Rocky
Graves
T would
trying to get
drop.
that
He
trade
would drop 2 leg drops onto Dark and Graves on the
Oh.
outside. He would pick up Dark and Graves over his shoulder. He would go to open up the casket, and when he went to open up the casket, a hand grabbed Rocky T's arm. Dark and Graves hurried up and scuttled off the backside of Rocky T and went towards the railing. A hooded figure would emerge from that casket, and cameras didn't catch him in the front side. They just got him from behind there, and you could see Dark and Graves looking like a ghost as he hightailed it like crazy out through the crowd. A very confused look on Rocky T's face as this hooded guy choke slams Rocky T through the casket, knocking him unconscious. And this match was called a no contest.
Two things, man. Two things that you never thought you could ever see. Well, two things that you rarely see, I should say. First and foremost, Dark and Graves running scared on Halloween of all nights. Secondly,
Well,
Rocky T.
he saw who was behind. He saw who was behind that hood, so it had to be somebody that would scare the life out of anybody. If Dark and Graves got scared,
Well, that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. Maybe the figure behind that mask was just behind that hood was just so overbearing. But maybe, just maybe, maybe Graves he wanted to make sure he can get away from Rocky T because maybe Rocky T was just getting ready to hulk up and put that thing away, man. I don't know.
I don't know either. And Sharon's gonna try to get us a clip of who exactly that was. We move on. Double half of the main event for the IW World Heavyweight Championship. Adam Cage going up against the champion, the Loaded Gun, going one-on-one with the Loaded Gun, Chad Bartlett. This match would take place inside of a cemetery outside of Brooklyn. And there was an actual grave ready to be dug. I mean, already dug, and these guys would go at it. Nachi, you saw this. This was brutal.
You know what, man? Both guys. Well, let me say first and foremost, man, both guys. If we can find a challenger, it's been hard to find challengers for Chad Bartlett. Quite frankly, he's been on a championship reign, unlike many we've seen. He's just mowed through every competitor we've put in front of him, and so it's hard to find guys who can actually not only be willing to get in the ring with him, but someone who can be as competitive enough that the fans can think that he's actually in jeopardy. So to be able to have Adam Cage in this match on this night, a treat to say the least.
Yeah, and it would just be brutal shots. Adam Cage and Chad Bartlett, they'd pull it all out for this. In the end, it would be Adam Cage delivering a low blow to Chad Bartlett, hit him over the head with a shovel. Chad Bartlett would fall into the grave, and it would be Adam Cage burying Chad Bartlett, your new world heavyweight champion. We got a new world champion, Notch.
Wow. I mentioned the great reign that Chad Bartlett has had. Incredible, historic, will never be forgotten. But man, for Adam Cage to be able to pull out this victory here tonight, remarkable. What a feat! What an effort here tonight. A lot of people will say what they will about Adam Cage on a personal level, but you can't deny the success, man. You can't deny the personal success. What a night.
Right. It was a good night. And yes, ma'am. Okay. The hooded guy, the hooded figure. It's who? You're full of fucking shit. I'll believe it when I see it. Apparently, we have footage of who it was that choked Sam Rocky teeth through the casket. I don't believe it.
Do you believe it now? Do you?
I think I seen a ghost.
I think we all have, man.
It's Legion. Legion Cole's back in IW.